My name is Papa Kwame Ofiri-Baafi
Where are you from?
from the Eastern region, Cheko to be precise, of Ghana.
And could you talk more about your childhood? What was it like?
My childhood life um, is a little bit complicated. The positive side, I was made to socialize with people. The negative side, I wasn't that good in education, so I didn't enjoy school. Yeah.
Okay, when you say complicated, could you name an example of an experience where you say it was complicated?
Growing up, I grew up in the barracks, so basically, um, there were some strict parenting at some point in time, and also we, when I say we, I mean the children, were mostly confined in the house, not mingling much with people. But we also had time to go to school, to go and learn. Um, so the positive side is our parents gave us good education. Yeah. But the negative side, because of the so much restriction, we were a little bit timid. We weren't able to learn freely.
And restriction as in, could you give an example in what way your parents were restricted?
My mother was a police officer. So at the time when she goes out to her post, she makes house chores for you, and you are not to break it. You are supposed to be law abiding as she is a police officer. Yeah, so it didn't make us pretty enjoy the other side of children's life where they will be roaming around. When you see a mother coming, you know that you've not done your chores. Then you know that very well that you're going to be lashed. Yeah. So that's the only side I might say that wasn't so pleasant to me. Then as me comparing to other children that I saw.
So how did this affect you growing up as a teenager?
With respect to discipline section, it's quite made me disciplined, but with respect to opening up and talking on issues, then I was very timid, not that easily opening up to speak of my mind.
And did this continue on later in your life, as far as the teenagers, or did this eventually change and became more open?
It changed when I was at class 5, when she now saw that, okay, when she saw that we are growing, when I say we, I mean the siblings, that we can survive. Yeah, that's when it started toning down, but not completely going off. It's toned down a little, but not completely going off. Yeah.
So what was your father's role in the household? Because you mentioned your mother was a strict disciplinarian. So how was your father in the household? Was he also a strict disciplinarian, or was he more of a laissez-faire type of parent?
My father was fair, and he only comes in when it was education. He pays your school fees. He told us that the only will that he can, or legacy he can give us, is giving us good education. So he gave his all in educating us. And gladly, all our siblings went through education, going to university and completing. So, for my father's side, he was liberal. But when it comes to education, you not being able to do your homework and you not meeting the target is set that you should when your terminal report comes, then you're a little bit dead. He'll lash you. Yes.
What is the relationship with your parents now? Do you have a tight relationship with them, or it's still, or it's actually a little distant?
Relationship is very much for my father. He has passed on. For my mother, it's very cool. As we grew up, she realized we are grown. It changed. Now it became like a sister and a brother relationship. At first, I couldn't call my mother Ajua. I can say Ajua when then she says that I'm here. But first, it should be mom. But right now, it's just like normal siblings. My mother, I consider him as one of my siblings. I can express myself very well to her and call her by a pet name or by a local name. She responds. That's all.
Was your relationship with her like this
No,
when
no,
you
no,
were
no,
growing
no.
up?
No, when we're growing up, no. We don't even dare to call her Ajua.
So what changed?
I think maybe she realized we're growing and she also realized we were able to meet the target that the father side was setting. Education wise, because of the how I wasn't very much sociable in class, any question I won't answer. So eventually I was not performing academically well. But later on, when at class 5 and 6, when they realized that okay, I'm becoming better, their approach also changed. Yeah, so I think that was the climax of my education, class 6. That changed our relationship with my parents because they saw that now I have become a little serious in learning.
So since you became serious in learning, the relationship between you and your mother had developed.
Yes.
Alright, that's good to hear. Let's fast forward to what you are becoming right now. It seems like you're in a classroom. Could you tell me more about what exactly you do for a living?
I do teach both remedials and do vacation class for students, and I also have an ultrasound facility that do take ultrasound for both females and males as well as babies.
Right, and what brought you into that type of career?
I saw a loophole in Domi. There was once an ultrasound facility here, and the person left. Then I said, why not? If the person is not here again, why not go into it? Of course, they knew that there is an ultrasound facility around, but right now the person is not there. So why won't I go into it and also learn it? Then I ventured.
Okay, and was this always a passion of yours to get into a career like this, or is something that basically you stumbled upon?
No, it wasn't. I studied economics. It's not part of my educational path. So it's an opportunity I saw and I went for it.
Are you actually saying now this has become a passion of yours?
Yes, it's a real time event as you are taking a video of me right now. That's our ultrasound. It's a real time event. So each and every time I'm learning, each and every time I'm researching to know much more on it. Yes.
Is there any credentials needed to start something like this?
Yes, there is. There is. You should be trained. Go to the university. We have two sections. One of it is a short course that is normally done by other ultrasound facilities. It's a normally 1 year course that is done by other ultrasound facility who give you a diploma, and you need to further it up at a university which is accredited by Allied and Health Science.
What are some of the challenges you faced by starting a business like this?
Finance, basically finance, because you need to rent an apartment, also need to buy the ultrasound facility, which is costly.
Should have any financial support.
No, I don't have any financial support.
So how were you able to support yourself financially starting this?
I read economics in University of Ghana. And at the University of Ghana, they taught us little about research. So, right after finishing school, right after graduating, a man called Dr. Ado, he was embarking on his research. That was at World Vision. Then he invited me and one of my friends called Prince George to assist him do the research. So that was the breakthrough. So when the man engaged us, we agreed to do it, and he went in for a Cadbury project, and we worked with him on the Cadbury project. So with that funds, we were able to break through and start a business.
Do you think facilities like this are needed in the Ghanaian community or in Ghana?
The ultrasound facility.
Yes. Do you think more of them are needed?
It's a gray area, and now I've seen that it's developing almost everywhere. At any point where you see a clinic or a hospital, the ultrasound facility is just close to it, because the sonographers are the immediate help to the physicians, because as soon as they do the scan and also write their report, the physician acts on it by looking at it and also giving their diagnosis and their prescriptions. Yeah, if there's any surgery to, it is done.
All right. So, should someone want to get into this, can you actually say that this is a lucrative business? Can someone support themselves in this career?
It is. It is a lucrative business, and you can go into it purposely making money straight ahead, but you need to get the professionals. It's not all about the money. It's about help. So you need to get the right professional to assist in scanning and giving the accurate report for the physicians to act on. Aside that, it's lucrative.
Are there facilities out there that don't have any credentials and they're basically giving out an unauthorized ultrasound reports to men?
As of now, I'm not very sure they are, but I know that we have allied health and other government agencies are keen on making sure that the ultrasound facilities um, are meeting their requirements so that they will be able to operate. So I believe before setting up, you need to go through all these before you are given the license to operate.
You mentioned that you also give remedial classes.
Yes.
Could you talk more about why you started that? Because it seems like you have two careers working simultaneously. So if you could talk more about why you started giving remedial classes.
For the remedial classes, I looked at my background. I had poor performance in when growing. I realized I was told I was not good. So as I was growing, I made all conscious effort to learn from class 2 to about class 5. I made all efforts to learn, but I was constantly told I was not good. It was in class 6, first term, that I had an encounter with um, an exchange program that brought some whites back to Ghana, and they came to my school then, University Primary and JSS Legon. So they at class 6, I was in 6S and 6P. That's class 6 primary P. We had S, P, and L. So I was in 6P. And they told us that they want those who are not good. So they mentioned my name, and I was crying. They told us to, they called all the students, then they mention your name, you take your desk, then they'll be hooting and laughing at you. I cried as I was holding my desk and passing in front of them. And they sent us way far from the classes block to an uncompleted class. Then, to my surprise, we went there and we saw white guys standing there. They said you are not good. So we are here to help you. So they started teaching us as if we were in class 1. Taught us everything from the beginning to the current state that we were in class 6. Eventually, we were made to go and write an exams that term. And normally I was in the Western class. So normally I fared around the 50th to the 60th, that range. So on that second term, when we went for end of term exams, I came to the 30th. Then I saw something is happening. So we took another exams and I came to the 20th. So the unfortunate thing is I don't know their names. I would have mentioned their names, but I don't know their names. Eventually, I went through writing BC, then getting to Presec, Boys, Legon. Then I went to university. Now, the long and short of it is, I saw how they trained or taught us. So I thought, okay, let me start for remedials. Remedials are those who failed. So why not try and impact what I was taught to them and see if it will work. I had a first student. She was doing maths and science. She failed maths and science. She came in June. She was going to write in October. I was able to help her pass. She got her A's resitting the which is an object, and she passed. Then I said, okay, then I think what they taught me, if I impart it much more, to be helpful to the Ghanaian society. So that's how I started doing the remedial class.
Right. I would like us to go more into the educational side of things. Obviously, Ghana used to be colonized by the British, and it seems like it's still working in that education system, British system. Do you believe that Ghana should start creating their own education system and abolish the British system?
It's way about time we start creating our own system, but we have relied so much on the way our predecessors were taught. We need to sit down, restructure our whole education to fit our Ghanaian society, and also give each and every child a chance to learn. We easily condemn that a child is not good, and that sticks into the child's head. So anywhere that a child is going, I know I'm not good, makes you more timid, makes you more not being involved with others, especially when it comes to education. You won't even try because you've been brainwashed that you're not good. So we need to restructure this whole kind of education in Ghana.
Do you think it starts with getting rid of the English language being the main language for the children to learn instead of Twi?
With the little I know, for all the developed nations, they have their own language. So that basically makes us understand that if you really want to develop, you need to get your own language and teach in your own dialect. It will make the children much more appreciating the concepts you are teaching and understand much more what is being taught. So I really agree that we should have our own language to teach our children. Irrespective of us having different tribes, we should have a consensus of using one particular language to easily teach. I would suggest the Akan language, the Twi language, because about 70% of Ghanaians understand. I just hope they will appreciate it and take it wholeheartedly and work on it.
Do you believe African children are bright?
I know. I don't believe, I know.
If you say they're bright,
Yes.
why is it that when they grow up, they're not able to use what they have learned in school? In their daily lives, there is no jobs. Meanwhile, they're all graduates, they have finished school. If they're so bright, why is it that they cannot apply it in their daily lives?
It's a system that we're working in. The system has made it in such a way that we all want to be employed. We don't want to be entrepreneurs. The system of education has, as they call it, white-collar jobs, making you feel that if you intend going into any other aside when growing, they say that you want to be an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, but you know very well that we have business men who even didn't go to school, but they've got a whole lot of money doing their business in the informal sector. So we need to it's a system of education. We need to restructure everything, promoting much science and technology, so that at the SS level, or even at the primary level, the students will be exploring, combining things to see if it will work, and they will be able to survive, not only trying to finish school, complete school, then you say that you have to be employed by the government.
Do you think once the children actually finish high school, do you think they should further their education abroad?
Yeah.
Actually continue living their lives there? Or do you think they should definitely go abroad and come back to rebuild their country? Or do you actually think they should stay here and try to rebuild Ghana? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a two-way affair. If your parents have the money to let you go abroad to further education, I don't have any problem with that. You can go abroad, further education, get much knowledge and skills in a particular endeavor, come back to Ghana, come and establish a business. Or for us who weren't able to travel, we've stayed here, we've found our feet surviving, and we are making some little coins to survive to Ghana. So it's a two-way affair. I can't run down on one and also just approve one like that.
Do you feel like parents are wasting their money sending their children to universities here in Ghana?
No. Education is very, very important. There's no wastage in money in doing any form of investment in a child. Then my father would have been the first person to have wasted his money on me. Yeah, because I wasn't good. But he kept on. I remember my teachers saying, repeat this boy. But my father says, let my people go. So I went through, he still supported me in education. And it's never a waste of resource when you invest in your child. No.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking this, obviously you turned out to be successful in your career. But
growing and aspiring to be successful. But I've not reached there
well,
yet.
you're one of a few that actually graduated in this country and you can actually make a living of what you're doing. But the same cannot be said for a lot of graduates who don't have a job at this moment. Their parents spend lots and lots of money putting their child through college, yet still there's no job. Do you think they could spend that money rather on starting a business instead of taking their children to college?
I think for those who have not yet started a business, they are, from what I think, they are still exploring to know what they can do. Because some people, of course, have graduated from universities, in the house, they are going through depression, trying to know their left from their right. They are not getting the headway. They've not also been employed. I know so many first class students who are still in the house. So I think they have not sat down to reflect inside to know what they can do. They are only looking outside to know what people can do for them. That's the difference. So if you sit down and you reflect and know what you can do, you just need the courage to start something and pursue it with diligence, and you'll be able to do it.
Who's supposed to teach this youth this? Because it seems like a very advanced concept you're just explaining. Who's supposed to teach the youth this way of looking at things?
It's advanced.
It is, because it seems like a lot of them, they're not doing that. They don't know how to reflect on, let me do something that I can actually be more hands-on instead of waiting for someone to give me something. Where are they supposed to learn this from?
It should start from the house and from the primary school, the two institutions. First from the house, because the house always um, makes you understand that we are putting investments in you for you to become a big person so that you be in an office. And the child consciousness tends to being employed by someone, but not actually trying to say that I want you to do something, to create something for your own. They said if you gather your own firewood, it can warm you twice. So if you make it understood that you can do something on your own and it can warm you twice, you understand that it's not someone employing you that can make you successful. You have to gather your own firewood. The school also need to. I have once heard that they are trying to do entrepreneurship programs in schools. So I think maybe they are now trying to buy that idea to try and inculcate the idea of making the younger generation much entrepreneurial than demanding that the state, the government should employ them.
Rumors has it that parents they send their children to private school because they feel like the education there is better than the public school. Do you feel like the factor of teachers being underpaid causes these public schools to have a poorer educational system than the private schools?
No, it's a factor of efficient monitoring in the public schools. The private schools don't even pay their teachers well, but they are very much efficient in making sure that they teach and go by the curriculum that is set. But the public school otherwise do not do that much. They know that even if they don't put in effort, they'll be paid at the end of the month. But the private school doesn't know that. If you don't make efforts teaching my children or the clients that I've brought to you to teach, you're not going to be paid. The private school, the teacher knows that, and the proprietor will make sure that you do that. But for the government sector, we have all these district directorates of education trying to be monitoring them, but actually they are not. You see some couple of books here. I have some GHS students that I'm preparing for BEC this year. I raise this topic, they say they've not been taught. I say, school ben amoko. I'm so amoko. I don't want to mention the name, I said, government school. I said, so you've not been taught this, and you're going to write BEC in June or July. So it keeps me wondering if the teachers are really teaching them, but the teachers are well trained from teacher training institutions. Government institution won't take someone who has not been trained to teach. So they are well trained, well resourced with respect to wages and salaries, and they are supposed to, they have all the incentives to teach, but since there's no efficient monitoring of their activities, they don't put in much effort.
So you think that once efficient monitoring comes into play, they will actually start doing their jobs better?
They will actually start doing their job better if it works, and they have to be sacked if you don't do it. We don't sack anyone in the government sector easily like that. So they know they have job security. So even if I don't teach, I'll still be there.
Children that go to school throughout from a very young age up until their teenage years, is there any system in Ghana in place where children can feel free to talk about their experience in school, whether they have been bullied, whether they've been sexually violated, whether they're not really having a comfortable home situation? Is there a system in place for Ghana to support these children?
I don't think there is a system. I know DOFSU and other agencies, but in Ghana it is not well laid that if a child is bullied or sexually harassed, the child, him or herself, can easily walk to that facility to make it known, or even sometimes coming to the house and making it known to the parents. Sometimes, you see, I made mention that when growing up, I was a little timid. So if I were to have been bullied, I don't think if I come home, I'll come and tell my mother, because she herself, I know she's very strict, and I will be lashed before even those bully uh, will be addressed. So in Ghana, sincerely, I don't think there's an easy system that um, can address those kind of issues of a child being bullied and the child willingly coming to, unless you come from a home where they give you chance to willingly express yourself, then I think you would have that to just easily tell anyone. But if you were to have come from the other side where there's strict parenting, I don't think you would give those information out.
Do you think this will affect the child's development? Because definitely they will have hard time studying.
Yes, yes, of course, it will. It's not a pleasant situation for a child to go to school with an open mind, then goes and go and meet a bully. It will just tear his or her heart out, and it will be a deep stain in his or her life. Yeah, he or she will always remember those things, and might even impede on how he or she learns in school, the educational um, status. It will have an effect on it.
Have you ever had one of your students come to something basically expressing how they have been bullied at school or sexually violated or any of that sort?
No, no. For the students I've been teaching, I've not had that experience of them coming to make known of their experience in school, if they've been bullied or not. Not yet. See, I have a cane over here. I've never used it. I just use it on the board to just point what they are supposed to learn. But I don't use it on the children or to beat them or anything or any sort. So for me, they express themselves very well, but none of them come here being bothered or being down emotionally, so that I can pinpoint that there's something worrying. Mm.
Do you think it's a common thing for, because you mentioned you have a cane in your classroom. Certainly this is what is going on in the public schools and even the private schools. It's common to have a cane in the classroom. Do you think it's proper to use a cane on a child? Do you consider that child abuse?
Child abuse. I don't use cane to beat a child, to correct a child. I don't use those measures. I only use cane in a classroom, especially only to help direct and learn. So when I'm teaching, I said, "Mutie, oyamebo, mutie." Then they'll say, so this is what he's saying. So let's just pay attention to what he's saying.
Could you translate for the viewers what you just said?
So when I'm teaching and they're not paying attention, I said, "Okay, pay attention to what I'm teaching you. Otherwise, I'll use a cane on you." They say, "Oh, okay, so let's come back." So it's like a call to their conscience, because I know that in school it's a rampant thing that goes on there. But in Ghana, I know they are putting a ban on caning children in school. So it's not much often, but I think some still do.
Do you consider what you just said as a translation true as a form of threatening to beat a child? Do you consider that abuse?
Okay, so from what I use is a form of um, calling on the conscience of the child to come back to the classroom, not necessarily beating. So, from what I do, it is not abusing them. Abusing comes in when I start trying to hit them with the cane. So I just try to call their consciousness that if you are not, if your mind is not in class, come back. We are here. Good.
What do you consider verbal abuse?
Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse, I would say trying to use words that hurt the emotions and the emotional intelligence of the child.
And do you think you threatening a child to beat him if he doesn't pay attention, do you consider this?
That's I wouldn't say that's a threat. As I only use those words as a means of consciousness, weakening the consciousness, but not threatening that I'll cane you by all means or by all chance. No, no, no. I don't do that.
So what happens if he doesn't listen to you?
The good news is they always listen. When something like that, sometimes we ask questions, they are a little, they are thinking, but I don't know if they are thinking inside the box or outside the box. So just call them back to consciousness that we are here. So they come back and we all cooperate and learn.
Okay. Do you believe whites or white people are more intelligent than black people?
No. No, I don't.
Could you elaborate on why not?
We're all created equally, having the same intelligence. So it's not a matter of one being superior than the other. I might only say because maybe they have much more exposure to some facilities and knowledge that we don't, or that we are not yet exposed to, but not necessarily they are intelligent much more than us.
Okay, because we do
If we are given the same platform, given the same form of education, you won't say that they are.
Because we do know Europe and even America, they're not that resourceful, but Africa is. It's actually the breadbasket of the world. How come they're able to make it as basically a top continent with the little resources that they have compared to Africa? Basically, the breadbasket of.
It's basically bad leadership. Yeah, bad leadership. That's all. And we are so. It is not inferior or thinking the whites are better, but it's just because our leaders are too selfish. They don't think of their followers. They think of amassing wealth. Eventually, you die and go, and what else have you gained? Nothing.
So you think Africa is doomed forever because of the bad leadership?
No, Africa is not doomed forever. We've had our bad past and maybe our current struggling situation, but we still have hope that it will turn out better. Yeah, only if we start changing our consciousness, how we think. I know you also have your own view on how we think and how we interpret things. So we need to just wake up and say that maybe it's like you are asleep. You just wake up, say that, so this is where I've been sleeping. I need to just wake up and go to the better side. It's just a matter of the mind.
What do you think needs to change in the educational system for children basically to grow up with opportunities to either work for themselves or have job opportunities? What do you think needs to change in the educational system?
Our current educational system, from in terms of resources, we need to really invest in the books, the technology, the infrastructure. It has to be changed. And we have also to change the way, the mode of teaching. And we need to also change how we view education in Ghana. We only see it as a means of getting and being employed by someone. Yeah.
What is the difference between a teacher and a mentor?
A mentor is a teacher. A teacher is not a mentor. That's the only difference.
Could you explain?
Okay, so I might have a mentor. I aspire and desire to be like him. So that means I try to know what he does or what I try to move with him to know how he does things. So eventually he's teaching me. I once had a man called H.O. Beku. I admire him so much, and I've learned so many things from him. He's my mentor and he has taught me, so he's my teacher. I went to primary school being taught by teachers. Now he's my mentor.
Do you feel like Ghana has more teachers than mentors?
Yeah, Ghana has more teachers than mentors. Teachers with respect to educational system, we have mentors. It's relative. It depends. So I can't give you a clear answer to that.
Is there any last words you have for our viewers?
All that I can say is life is simple, but it depends on the choices you make. So you just need to make the good choices to know to guide us on what we have to be in future. That's all.
We'll just end it on that note. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.